Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Stand Up.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Hey, it's my first open mic. I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, here we go.
That is aspiring comedian Stanley Dubb, son of prominent lawyer Martin Dubb, who along with Christie's crew has represented some of the world's most detestable clients. We need to send the firm a message, and knocking off Stanley will get the point across. You know what you need to do, 47.
Hey, so what's the deal with airplane food? No? Okay. How about those politics? All right. Sometimes white people will be like,
It's true. I think the Hitman games, especially this new trilogy that began in 2016, are hilarious. And you're probably asking yourself, how can a game about a guy who kills people for a living be funny? That's not exactly a light topic. Well, comedy is certainly subjective. Not everything that makes me laugh is gonna make you laugh too.
Don't I know it?
So I can't necessarily convince you that something is funny, but what I can do is examine the comedy of Hitman and explain mechanically what is happening, because there's nothing funnier than explaining the joke. One important note before we jump in. Because Hitman 3 is so new, I'm only going to be showing gameplay from its first 2 levels, since they've been pretty well circulated. Anything from the later stages is just from cinematic trailers, so don't sweat any spoilers. All of Hitman's best bits come from the comedic tradition of slapstick. Even if you don't know that style by name, you'll definitely recognize it in action. It's characterized by exaggerated physical movements and expressions. Think Jim Carrey in The Mask. But for my money, there's one legendary comedy troupe that clowns on everyone that came after them: the Three Stooges. For nearly 50 years, Moe and Larry, flanked by either Curly or Shemp, we're not going to mention the dudes that came later, graced us with comedy shorts, movies, and even a cartoon. But it's the shorts we're going to focus on as we draw parallels to Hitman. Watch this clip from Malice in the Palace, where the Stooges, stacked on top of each other in a disguise, alert a guard to their presence. Notice the over-the-top scrambling and yelling as the guard rushes over. This scramble has been present since Paris, the very first mission of the new Hitman trilogy. Here's what happens when I fail to be sneaky and disguising myself as fashion model Helmut Kruger. Now, Agent 47 is a little more adept at combat than Moe, Larry, or Shemp, but the mad dash to get away after being exposed is still present.
Yeah, you really screwed that one up, didn't you?
And it's far from the only time. Here's what happens in Bangkok when I fail to subdue a guard, then accidentally clock a witness in the jaw.
Shut the hell did you just do, you moron?
Notice the ragdolling that people do when 47 knocks them out. This exaggerated, totally limp collapse is another part of slapstick comedy. You can fall, sure, but it's funnier when that fall is over the top. Let's watch Curly do something similar in Disorder in the Court, possibly the Stooges' best short ever. Take note of the deep sound Curly makes when he hits the floor. When the Stooges perform their slapstick, it's complemented by sound effects that are just as exaggerated as their physical movements. Eye poking and slaps to the face are probably the most common, usually paired up with a cheeky remark.
He was a onesies, you get him to...
He has fivesies.
Here's YouTuber The Gaming Lemon doing that exact thing in Hitman's Paris level.
Catch! No. Yes!
Yelling catch, hurling the axe in an exaggerated arc, the target ragdolling upon impact, all of these things come together for perfect slapstick execution. It's also quite a surprise for the other dude just chilling in the break room. These unexpected moments are another key component of slapstick. Let's stay in Paris for a little longer. See, 47 can take Helmut Kruger's place, but what happens when he actually has to be part of the fashion show? Does he get caught? Does he fail to sashay down the runway? No, he works that catwalk like the fashion icon he is. It's surprising, but it's very entertaining to watch. Back in Bangkok, that little hallway hubbub was in service of me taking the place of drummer Abel Da Silva so that I can get to my target's recording studio. But what happens when I get there? Is Agent 47 exposed as a fake musician? Not at all. He sits down and plays the helmet out of those drums. Unexpected and delightful. Here's what happens when the Stooges' antics take unexpected turns. Malice in the Palace begins with Moe, Larry, and Shemp as waiters. Despite their signature klutziness, they do avoid knocking into each other. Sort of.
Boy, if I hadn't ducked, we'd have collided sure. What a narrow escape.
Exaggerated sound effect, lots of broken plates, a big mess. It's a great payoff.
I heard that sometimes you could have a surprise after the surprise.
That's actually very correct, Stan. It's common for one surprising act to be followed by another in slapstick routines, not unlike how a stand-up comedian can tag a joke with an extra punchline. Surprise number 1, 47 successfully walks down the catwalk. But then, surprise number 2, I chuck a crowbar into the back of one of the models. The crowd does not like that. I laugh, it's a good time. There is comedy in innocent bystanders getting caught up in the chaos. Back in Bangkok, I finish that drum solo, take a moment to soak up some rockstar glory, then send a screwdriver flying into my target's head in front of the whole crew. Twist, Agent 47 can play drums. Double twist, he ends up blowing his cover anyway by committing murder in the middle of a recording session. It's not just ill-timed actions that make for good comedy, but unconventional ones too. Repurposing everyday objects is another hallmark of slapstick. Let's check out another Stooges short. Sing a Song of Sixpants. Moe's gonna make some pancakes using a pants press. It's not the intended use of the appliance, but it is a humorous one. Later in the same short, he and Larry even use it in a fight. Likewise, you wouldn't expect a golf ball to explode, but that's exactly what 47 makes happen when taking out a rich prick on top of a Dubai skyscraper.
Carl Ingram finally gets what he deserves.
He also makes great use of fruit, turning a banana into a handy melee weapon. And you guessed it, the Stooges have done the exact same thing.
Bullseye!
Why you...
All of these pillars I've described so far are the building blocks of slapstick comedy, but they also fit under another category: contrast. Our protagonists are at odds with the setting. They don't belong in these situations. When the Stooges are first introduced in Disorder in the Court, they're seen playing games on the courthouse floor. In Malice in the Palace, they're waiters thrown in over their heads when sent to collect a rare diamond. In Sing a Song of Sixpants, they're simple tailors forced to deal with a gang of bank robbers. Then there's 47, who drops into spectacular skyscrapers and austere British mansions to, well, carry out hits. His violence is at odds with the often beautiful environments. And as YouTuber Bed Bananas demonstrates here, sometimes 47's perpetually stoic face when surrounded by death is enough of a comedic contrast in itself. The more at odds with the environment our characters are, the more outlandish and unexpected the situations become. Moe and Larry continue their game of tic-tac-toe despite being in the middle of a murder trial. When Curly takes the stand, he gets rather confused when trying to take an oath, in one of the Stooges' most iconic moments.
Raise your right hand. Now put your left hand here. Take off your hat. Raise your right hand.
And as discovered by my colleagues at Giant Bomb, the Paris fashion show takes quite a turn when someone dressed as a sheik busts into the party with a fire axe.
You might want to go. Did you see what Sheik Zanzibar did?
The same goes for the fancy Thornbridge Manor in Dartmoor. You wouldn't expect the lady of the house to get fried while taking a family portrait. So when it happens, the family is understandably shaken. This creation of chaos in a calm place causes contrast, and it emulates the unexpected.
Very nice alliteration there.
Shut up, Stan.
What?
Anyway, the amazing thing is that despite the chaos, despite the surprising moments, despite the unconventional approach, things do tend to work out. For example, 47 and the Stooges have a similar knack for disguises. When Moe, Larry, and Shemp roll up dressed as Santa Claus in the middle of the desert, their plan shouldn't work at all. but somehow it does. And when Shemp puts on a fake beard right in front of the guy who's roughing him up, he totally falls for it.
Where's that guy was here? He went that away.
When 47 slips into his own Santa suit, or impersonates a model, or walks around dressed as a photographer who is totally supposed to have a beard, it works. That's the punchline of Hitman. You spend all this time in the setup phase, creeping around, disguising yourself as someone else, setting up the perfect chain of events, getting the target right where you want them, and then voila, payoff. It doesn't always go according to plan, of course. Sometimes Shemp unsuccessfully tries to iron a pair of pants that got coiled up in a window shade, and sometimes 47 blows his cover or punches the wrong person in the face. But in the end, miraculously, it all works out. You knock off your target and make your escape, and then you want to do it all over again, but this time, even better. Same goes for our plucky protagonists in the Stooges shorts. They're not the brightest bulbs in the box, but they do manage to come out on top.
100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 50. Oh, how did that get in here?
Hey, thanks so much for watching that video. Thank you to IO Interactive for providing me with the code. Thank you to my friend Natalie for adding her voice to this video. If you like what Framework is doing, definitely hit that subscribe button in the middle. It would help me an awful lot if you did. And if you want to see more of what we already have available, hit that link on the far left. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.